Are you bothered by your preference for solitude? Do you question if there's something wrong with not having a huge social circle? What you might see as a flaw could actually be a sign of intelligence. Countless people have stumbled through life chasing the approval of the masses, terrified of diverging from the herd. The result? Emptiness, poor choices, and often regret. Lives compromised by betraying their own principles just to fit in with groups that didn't respect them. But what if I told you that solitude can be a superpower, that a smaller circle of friends might be the ultimate test of self-awareness and inner growth? Keep watching. You'll understand how mindful solitude paves the way to clarity and transforms how you live, decide, and feel. I'm Adriano, and for over a decade I've studied and practiced Stoic philosophy. Stoicism has taught me to navigate loss, handle criticism, and find serenity even amidst adversity. Today I'll share 4 powerful Stoic lessons that changed my life, and could change yours too. Notice how as you mature you naturally drift away from certain people. This isn't arrogance or intolerance, it's evolution. Your mindset shifts. You seek substance over superficiality, moving beyond shallow conversations and pointless parties. You start reflecting deeper, feeling more intensely, craving a life with purpose, and unfortunately, or happily, not everyone keeps pace. Many mistake this process for social isolation, but it's actually self-preservation. It's about learning to choose wisely. Life demands choices. You can't progress surrounded by people content to remain stagnant. Epictetus wisely said, "Avoid the company of ignorant people. They are not only useless but can drag you down." It's not just philosophical, it's practical, essential, and profoundly relevant today. How often have you been in conversations filled with trivial chatter, forcing smiles and swallowing dissenting opinions just to blend in? That's not genuine connection, it's subtle self-destruction. This leads us to a major modern struggle: the fear of loneliness, the anxiety of seeming antisocial. But there's a critical difference between loneliness and solitude. Loneliness is a lack. Solitude is a choice, a conscious embrace of self-sufficiency. Most people crave belonging, but belonging to what? Pointless groups? People who wouldn't notice your absence? Cycles where your presence is tolerated, never truly valued? Stoicism teaches that true freedom begins when your sense of self-worth doesn't hinge on external validation. This inevitably pushes people away. When you stop being malleable, you become inconvenient, and that's when the discomfort starts. How many friendships have you lost after making choices that prioritized your peace, but defied others' expectations? It's more common than you think, and often the best thing that could happen. Your values will determine who stays. The clearer your values, the smaller your circle will become. And that's liberating. Amy Winehouse serves as a painful example. A brilliant artist, exceptionally talented, yet surrounded by people who fueled her worst vices instead of protecting her. Convenience, not genuine care, motivated them. When she needed true support, silence was deafening. The Stoic understands that clarity often comes at the cost of superficial relationships, but the reward is far greater. The peace of aligning with your principles, the quiet confidence of sleeping maskless, the strength of knowing that even with few, you have what truly matters. Interestingly, the more you live authentically, the more you attract like-minded individuals. People connect with who you are, not what you own. Then, quantity becomes completely irrelevant. Inner growth, unfortunately, terrifies those still clinging to appearances. They'll judge you, label you arrogant, think you've withdrawn. But those with true wisdom will understand. You haven't withdrawn. You've found yourself. What many perceive as weakness, the Stoic recognizes as strength. After all, the solitary journey toward truth far surpasses a crowded march toward nowhere. Most people dread the thought of being alone, not physically, but emotionally, mentally, in the absolute silence of their own minds. Because in that silence, the questions we avoid surface. Who am I really? What am I doing with my life? What wounds am I ignoring? That's why solitude is frightening. It confronts you with what you hide. Yet precisely for that reason, it's one of the most potent tools for personal growth. Seneca said, "The mind that is anxious about the company of others can never find peace." He's right. Until you find peace in your own company, you'll rely on external noise to silence inner turmoil. Look around. Silence has become almost an enemy. Not with someone. Your phone. Not in conversation. Loud music. Not in a group. Scrolling through social media for distraction. But distraction from what? Many fear what they might discover alone. Empty relationships, purposeless jobs, lives they didn't consciously choose. To avoid this reality, they flood themselves with stimuli. But excessive stimulation steals clarity, and without clarity, there's no direction. Stoicism teaches that self-control isn't found in rushing, but in pausing. You won't build inner strength while running from yourself. Confront your anxieties, mistakes, hidden desires. Observe without judgment. This only happens when you learn to enjoy your own company. The practical application is simple yet profound. Dedicate at least 10 minutes daily to complete solitude. No phone, no distractions, just you, your thoughts, and your breath. Initial anxiety is normal. Your mind is used to constant stimulation. But over time, you'll discover a space of power, a sanctuary from external criticism, pressure, and the need to perform. In this space, you begin to understand yourself better, identifying emotional patterns, questioning automatic habits, and truly liberating yourself. Science backs this up. A study in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology showed that people who cultivate regular solitude exhibit better emotional regulation, focus, and psychological well-being. In short, those comfortable alone interact better with others and make more conscious choices. The problem is to avoid the pain of self-discovery. Many engage in self-destruction, toxic relationships, destructive habits, addictions, compulsions. These numb the pain of self-discovery, and when realization hits, it's often too late. This happened, in a way, to Amy Winehouse, and to countless others surrounded by noise, commitments, and friends, desperately trying to drown out their inner cries. Stoicism emerges as a bitter, necessary medicine. It doesn't say avoid pain, but confront it. Not escape solitude, but use it as a mirror. Not distract yourself, but focus. In practice, start with simple questions during your quiet time. What bothered me today, and why? Did I react with anger or wisdom? Is this desire genuine or a disguised insecurity? These questions transform everything by shifting focus inward and restoring your power. Honest answers reduce your dependence on others for meaning. Solitude isn't about withdrawing from the world. It's about rediscovering yourself within it. This rediscovery makes you unshakable. Those who know themselves deeply don't lose themselves in chaos. And more importantly, those who find strength in silence don't sell themselves for scraps of attention. They've learned to nourish themselves with their own truth. Have you noticed how exhausting it is to maintain relationships just to avoid seeming rude, to prevent conflict, or to not appear cold? How often have you suppressed words, swallowed thoughts, and feigned agreement to preserve a friendship or connection that no longer served you? This is where many falter, confusing politeness with passivity, empathy with submission, gradually erasing themselves for the sake of an interaction that drains more than it adds. Marcus Aurelius wrote something seemingly crafted for this situation. Remain firm, like a rock against which the waves break incessantly, but it remains unmoved. This firmness isn't arrogance. It's knowing yourself and refusing to be molded by external pressure. It's learning to say no respectfully, without guilt. It's knowing when to withdraw from a conversation, a group, or even a friendship when it pulls you away from your essence. This takes courage. From childhood, we're conditioned to please parents, teachers, colleagues. The result? Adults unable to be authentic, measuring every word and gesture, fearing disapproval. But when you live according to your truth, not others' expectations, something shifts. You realize not everyone will like you, and that's okay. Those who crave constant approval are always outside themselves. Those outside themselves never find peace. Practically, this means making conscious choices daily, declining an emotionally draining invitation even if it displeases, stepping away from negative conversations even if it seems indifferent, maintaining your position firmly even if it labels you difficult. And you're not alone. Numerous public figures have suffered trying to please everyone, ending up emotionally depleted. Britney Spears is a prime example. For years, she maintained an impeccable public image, surrounded by those pretending to be friends and advisors, but harboring other interests. The cost was immense. She lost control of her life and voice, only recently beginning to recover. Contrast this with those who understood early and chose differently. Joaquin Phoenix, for instance, is known for his reserved nature, selectivity in relationships, and resistance to Hollywood's social pressures. He doesn't attend every event or join every circle, yet, or perhaps because of this, he exudes a rare authenticity. You sense his completeness because he doesn't fragment himself to please anyone. Harvard researchers have shown that maintaining toxic relationships or constantly trying to please everyone elevates cortisol levels, the stress hormone. This constant stress impairs memory, affects sleep, and compromises the immune system. Trying to fit into places you've outgrown literally makes you sick. Stoicism invites us to a more integrated life, choosing who to share your energy with, not out of selfishness, but preservation, not coldness, but wisdom. This doesn't mean closing your heart, but making space for those who truly contribute. It means abandoning convenience-based connections and prioritizing genuine bonds. Yes, this will shrink your circle, but greatly enhance your peace. So next time you feel guilty about being selective, remember, you're not being harsh, you're being fair to yourself. Those fair to themselves refuse to be fragmented by others, understanding that integrity isn't negotiable, it's lived. How many life decisions were made to please someone, for acceptance, praise, inclusion? We live in a world where external approval is almost an addiction. You post something and crave likes. You dress a certain way considering others' opinions. You say yes when you mean no, fearing misinterpretation. This comes at a cost. Every time you stray from your truth to fit in, you leave a piece of yourself behind. Stoicism reminds us of something seemingly simple yet revolutionary. Your peace cannot depend on anyone's opinion. Epictetus said, "If you want to be free, don't wish things to happen as you want them, but rather wish them to happen as they do happen, and you will be happy." This includes accepting that not everyone will like you, and that's okay. From childhood, we're trained to seek applause. The agreeable child is praised, the adaptable teen is accepted, the compliant adult is promoted. We lose ourselves in silent exchanges, trading authenticity for crumbs of acceptance. This exacts a price, often our mental health, the emotional exhaustion of playing a role that no longer fits, the anxiety of constant perfection, the frustration of never being enough. This has a name: dependence on external validation, underlying many cases of depression, social anxiety, low self-esteem, and burnout. The American Psychological Association published a study showing that individuals with a high need for approval are more prone to depressive symptoms, fearing rejection. Stoicism offers a different path, teaching that an action's value lies in its intention, not the applause it receives. Virtue resides in acting righteously, even unseen. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "When you arise in the morning, think of what a precious privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, to love." You don't need others' acceptance to be who you are. Practically ask yourself honestly before major decisions. Does this come from me or the fear of judgment? Are you choosing clothes because you like them, or because of others' opinions? Posting content because you believe in it, or because you think it will go viral? Approaching someone because of a connection or because they're popular? This self-observation reveals how trapped you've been. Trapped by the need to be seen, the obligation to please, the idea of being everything to everyone all the time. This silent imprisonment has destroyed countless individuals from within, like Robin Williams, one of history's greatest comedians, loved and applauded worldwide. Yet behind the jokes was a man feeling alone, misunderstood, suffocated by his own and the world's expectations. He perfectly mirrors what happens when you dedicate your life to making others smile, unable to truly smile yourself. Conversely, public figures have chosen a more authentic, albeit less popular path. Emma Watson, after Harry Potter, could have followed fame's cliches, but she rejected meaningless roles, prioritized her studies, activism, and projects reflecting her values. She firmly demonstrated that a purposeful life is possible without universal approval. The result? A public image inspiring precisely because of its authenticity. The great transformation occurs when you realize you don't need to prove anything to anyone. Your existence is inherently valuable, even without applause. Pleasing everyone isn't worthwhile if it displeases you. You don't need constant explanations, justifications, or defenses. You need self-respect. When that happens, others' opinions may still reach you, but they no longer define you. Those who approve of themselves internally are liberated externally. That, my friend, is one of the greatest displays of wisdom. Not having many friends doesn't mean something is wrong with you. It could be the opposite, a sign of maturation, self-awareness, and conscious choices about who and what you let into your life. Stoicism teaches that true strength lies not in pleasing everyone, but in maintaining integrity even when it means walking alone. The sooner you apply this, the lighter your life will become. Less weight of false relationships, less anxiety about acceptance, more freedom to be exactly who you are. The benefit of starting today is that you'll stop wasting energy trying to fit into spaces that don't belong to you. You'll start building a life based on essentials, not others' expectations. And in the long run, that's worth more than any fleeting approval. Thank you for being here. See you in the next video as we climb another step in your Stoic wisdom journey, becoming a little better than you are today. Until then,